them come. This is their fate.
All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay, here with my near and dear friend, Jalen and Josh. Today we got quite a bit to talk about, so we're going to get started quickly. But before we get started, per usual, Jalen, how's life going? What's going on? What you been playing? What you been up to? What you been doing? Talk to the people.
I know me, man. Just playing. Shoot. I mean, not much. Just trying to accomplish some of these New Year goals. My boy Deontay trying to check in every 31st or 30th or 28th, however many days in that month. But yeah, nah. So just New Year, like resolutions and stuff like that. I've been really trying to emphasize consistency. People was cooking me because I couldn't touch my toes and stuff like that. But just rest assured that I can touch my toes. That's part of my little goal and stuff. But I'm trying to make sure I get that flexibility in. That's usually like one of the first things to go, that elasticity within your muscles or within your like joints and stuff like that. I guess muscles to some capacity, but yeah, just some of that, man. So I'm about to turn 30 this year. I know that, so I might get a little stiff. I already got my cane pre-ordered and all that, you know what I'm saying? So just working on that. Trying to hoop more, work out a lot more consistently, those sorts of things. So not a whole lot, just taking it day by day. As far as like games I've been playing, I've been fondling my Steam Deck a little bit more frequently. And then I had started playing like Mario RPG, like the little 7 stars, or I don't know the specific name, but it was Super Mario RPG though. I'm playing the Switch version, trying to see how I like that game. I always wanted to play like the original Super Nintendo version. Never really got around to doing it and stuff like that. So I'm playing the Switch version, just trying to take it for what it is. So, but I mean, that's pretty much it though. Not a whole lot.
Okay. What about you, Josh? What you been up to? What you been doing?
What have been up to this week? I guess a lot. Still got my Warframe going.
Warframe.
That's still hitting, but we gonna talk about it in a bit. But the biggest game of the year dropped out of nowhere. So I've been putting my time into that, seeing what's going on. And that's the Palworld.
The Palworld,
which,
man.
Yeah, it's a lot of people talking about it. A lot of good stuff going on. A lot of controversy going on. A lot of hating going on.
Pokemon clone.
Yeah. Unapologetic.
Yeah, for sure. They said they cleared it with the lawyer, so they good. They cleared it.
Other than that, it's not much going on. It's actually starting to get really cold here in Japan. We had a little bit of snow this week. It didn't stay, but it's supposed to be snowing some more this week. So it'll be the first this winter that we got snow. I know in back in the US, y'all got some inches, right?
Yeah, we got a lot of inches. It's basically been freeze raining, and it's been pretty bad. So if you actually look at a lot of TikTok, which I shouldn't, but I do, it's been a lot of videos, just people just sliding across the streets. Like, it's been bad. This morning when I went out, I kind of was... I was sliding a little bit when I was going down a few hills, and then when I tried to actually pull into a parking space and get out, because it doesn't have any like cover, the whole thing was like basically a sheet of ice, and I was slipping and sliding all the way to the building. So yeah, it's definitely crazy right now. That's for sure. Like the whole yeah, I don't know. This weather is very weird. So, but I know Texas got it pretty bad because they're not really prepared for any type of cold weather.
But yeah, other than that, just hanging out with the family. I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast, but I got a camera for Christmas, and I've been just trying to take more pictures. Because me, I'm pretty much just, I go to work, come home, hang out with my family, but
taking the scenic route more.
Yeah, take the scenic route. And I don't know what it is about social media and stuff, but we've been online for like 15 years, and so
Yeah.
like I don't post a whole bunch of like daily updates online anymore. But still want to catch up with my family and friends and stuff like that. So with the camera, I'm hoping to have more deliberate like
Things to
moments that I want to
post.
show people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whether it's like I'll post some stuff online, but like for my older family, see if I can do like a scrapbook or something like that, of, like me and my family or places that we go, like actually print it out and share it. So that's in the works. It's gonna take a little bit, because like I'm still learning how to actually use like a real camera. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's I guess one of my goals for this year.
Yeah, every time I post something online, I get unnecessary opinions from family members. So I be like, bro, I don't
Hmm.
want your opinion. So it's an interesting, yeah. So that's really why one of the main reasons why I stopped posting on Facebook. I was like, bro, they all over there. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. And I ain't like Facebook. I don't like Facebook anyway, so it's fine. But you know, it's just like stuff like that. So anywho, yeah. I mean, outside of that, I mean, what I've been doing, chilling, trying not to fall on ice, playing Power Worlds as well. A little Prince of Persia. Figured out a way to get it on my Steam Deck running, which we could talk about a little bit. Um, and I've been watching TV. I've been going through. I've been like every little moment I have to like 30 minutes to an hour. So I watch some Big Bang Theory. I am like flying through that show. I'm realizing that it's not as funny as I remember, but it's fine. It's just another one of those shows that's good background noise. It's not a bad show. It's just not
Hmm.
Office or something like that. So, but I've been watching that, and I'm like on season 8, so I'm flying through that. It's like six. It's like 15 seasons though, so it's a lot of seasons. But I've been watching that, chilling, and when I have downtime to like where I'm like not busy, but I'm busy, and like it's weird. I don't know. It's like background noise at this point. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, I'm watching that, and I just been trying to play a little couple of games every now and again, try to get some time in. Steam Deck is definitely helping out with that. So I'm able to get a little sessions in every now and again. But yeah, just been chilling. Not too much going on. We have not played Overwatch, which is interesting. We have not played that together in quite a minute now. It's been like 2 weeks or so. But that's a
Yeah,
long time normally. That's a long
yeah. I hopped
time
on a little bit
for
one day
Overwatch.
with Jalen, but we all been like, yeah, out
Yeah,
out and busy and
pretty
trying to sync up
busy.
schedule.
Yeah, so we'll get back to it. I mean, some other stuff that I want to play as well, but yeah, we got a lot to talk about, and some of the things I want to kind of share with y'all what we gonna be talking about in case y'all just like wonder what the heck they're gonna be talking about. We're gonna talk about Pal Worlds. We're gonna talk about the developer direct, Last of Us Remaster coming out. People want to charge more for games. The Avatar Last Airbender trailer, Tekken 8, Super Mario RPG, Prince of Persia, Demon Slayer trailer, Like a Dragon trying to charge and gatekeep for certain things as well. So we got a lot to talk about and we got a lot to get to. So let's just hop in. And I think the biggest thing that we want to talk about really is the Power Worlds. So I'm gonna start off with a few stats. I mean, this is like real stats. This isn't made up, people. So they have sold over 6 million copies. In, I think what 4 days. Um, that's crazy. They have
Mm.
one point. I think the highest peak for Steam alone. They're not talking about Game Pass, Xbox, none of that. Just Steam. 1.6 million players playing at the same time, concurrent, as in same time playing on this game. That's like beating out Counter Strike, beating out large expansive games. Not no early access $26 game. This is just literally uh some like a mashup of a bunch of different games, but it's piquing everyone's interest, and I know why. It's literally just Pokemon. Everybody wanted to play Pokemon, but they don't want to admit they all still love Pokemon. I think that is literally the biggest reason why this thing is taking off so much. I don't think it's like hate to say that they're building on formulas that's already been out there and proven. It's just literally certain things that are creating the attach rate that you would think only comes with a higher level game that's tenured, that has a large fan base. And what is that fan base that Nintendo has locked to one system for a very long time? It's Pokemon. I really think that is the reason why the success is happening. And it's not to take nothing away from Palworlds. It's just literally that is the reason. But I could be wrong. I mean, I'm wrong most of the time. But to me, this is screaming. This is something that was an itch that what Pokemon Company could never scratch, because literally they wouldn't never make a take a chance on anything. These are people that own PCs that's playing this game heavily. And there's a reason why this is the large market and large amount of people that's playing it now. But yeah, that's a lot of success for a short period of time. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Yeah, Palworld is complicated. Not complicated, but it's a lot of moving pieces to like why is this game successful? Because like they dropped the trailer a couple years ago, and it's a Pokemon game, but our gimmick is our Pokemon got guns, and you can like put them into indentured servitude and like capture humans and stuff like that. So it's like,
Yes.
all right, so this is a Pokemon clone, but they doing crazy stuff with it. But like it was kind of like a meme until like it actually came out this week and people played it. It was like, oh no, the game is actually kind of fun. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not just a throwaway idea. And I think that's kind of its success, because like I didn't care anything about Power World. Like I like Pokemon, but I don't buy Pokemon games anymore. But like that's not to say that I wouldn't. It's just they don't have a product that I care about. And so with Power World, I saw some gameplay. It was just like 5 minutes, and I thought the combat looked actually kind of fun. The concept is still crazy, but
Mm.
oh, this is it's kind of fun. So I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna spend my 2 hours on Steam and I'm gonna play it, see what it's like. And from the jump, like it feels like pretty solid. Like it's an early access game, so it's still janky and stuff like that. But I was surprised at how like this actually feels like a real game.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
this open world game kind of feels in a lot of ways better than Pokemon, and it's not exactly a one-to-one Pokemon clone, but obviously they have a lot of ideas taken directly from Pokemon. And if you compare it to what Arceus that came out not too long ago,
Arceus, yeah.
uh,
I think
yeah,
it's like,
Pokemon Legends Arceus, that game actually was like super similar. It's open world. You go out and you like throw the ball at the Pokemon. You hide in the grass, and that's similar stuff here. But Power World is mixing in Fortnite building
mm-hmm.
and like base management, and all the mechanics I say are pretty solid. Like I'm surprised at how competent like the AI is for the pals with like them building and stuff. So I think it's a combination of things. It had meme status. Online memes can be a big boom for your business. But the
Yeah, it could
game
be
behind it is
powerful.
actually pretty it has sticking power. Like it wasn't just like 15 minutes of fame. People actually enjoying it, so it might have some legs to it. Uh, so that's good. That's interesting to see.
Yeah.
Out of that, a lot of controversy. Some of it is valid, some of it is not. But did you see any of that?
Honestly,
Obviously,
outside
the biggest
of
one
people
was,
saying that the server issues, no, I have not seen any controversy um
oh,
as of yet. So I
this
guess
is
fill
the
me in.
this is the biggest. This is the Hogwarts Legacy of the year.
Why?
Not So it's a bunch of stuff. One, I'll start with the one that I don't really agree with. One is the plagiarism. They're like, oh, they stole directly from Pokemon, and you shouldn't support it because of that. And like, I don't necessarily agree with that. It
Yeah, I
is
disagree with that
stealing
as
ideas
well.
from Pokemon, but there are a lot of games that the only
Yeah.
reason that they exist is because they take ideas from other games and kind of improve on it. Like the whole genre of fighting games, like somebody plays Street Fighter, oh, we want to make a Street Fighter, so we're gonna steal from it, and then you get a
Yeah.
whole bunch of other fighting games, same thing. And
I mean,
Pokemon's
you
been
can
around a
look
long
at
time.
1010, you can look at Nino Kuni, you can look at any monster fighter game and say that they
Yeah,
have
even
derived something from Pokemon. That's not the case.
some people
Like,
were sharing like designs of Pokemon. It was like the original 150 Pokemon are copies off of like Dragon Quest, which came first.
yeah,
And so, take that idea and evolve on it. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, but yeah, you're gonna see a lot of Pokemon fans like crying about that, like they stealing from it, and that's wrong.
they want Pokemon Company had the success. They already have the success. They just haven't innovated on anything. Like, this is not the game that's going to be made by the Pokemon Company. So what are they copying truly? All they're doing is innovating on the IP that was stagnant for a very long time. There's nothing that they added additionally outside of the going 3D, and it sucked. I mean, I can be honest. To me, it sucked. I will not
Yeah,
put that out publicly that everybody hated it. I hated it because I felt like it was boring, and then most of the time when I interacted with what they were doing in it, it did not feel as if the Pokemon Company put in much effort. Um, and
yeah, they
literally,
leave money on the
yeah,
table, and somebody else come in and do it better,
and steal your
and
lunch.
that's
That's on
theirs.
you,
Yeah,
man.
uh, that's not Pokemon Company fault. I mean, realistically, they're not gonna be hurt by Palworld, but they're gonna be
No,
jealous.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure they're gonna be jealous. Like, this is a lot of money to be over the course of 4 days to be making. But this isn't even like heavy microtransactions. This isn't something like that where they have this. I mean, they could implement some of that stuff later on down the line, but this is like a buy one thing and then you kind of just play the game. Um, I'm trying to figure out where they're going to monetize additionally, but right now they don't. It's not like that. It's just literally a game that you can play, and kind of fight for the, I guess, the survival of the region where you kind of go take on these bosses and stuff like that. But there is like
yeah,
I guess there is an ending to it. It's not like an online forever type situation. To me, it's not. It doesn't look like that. That's
yeah.
where I feel
It
like,
has a beginning, middle, and end, I guess, for this
yeah,
version, and how they expand on it. We'll
in the
see from there.
future is something different. But this right now is like, this is where. But yeah,
Yeah.
if they
So with
continue that way, um, I think it would be, just another one of those things where, yeah, where they kind of they make enough profit to kind of keep reiterating on their IP, but I don't know. I don't see where the jealousy would come from. They would never make this game. Not where you enslaving. Well, I wouldn't call it enslaving, but you're basically getting workers. They're doing stuff, and then you're going out shooting people with guns. I don't think this would ever be made by Pokemon Company. So why are they upset about
Yeah,
it?
it's something that like Pokemon has like in the games and their lore they talk about. It's been Pokemon wars and people that use Pokemon to like go to war and kill each other and stuff like that. But you never seen any of that type of stuff in Pokemon. So it's like that's not what Pokemon Company is ever gonna do. So if a game wants to come in and explore that like idea, I think that's completely free because like nobody's gonna ever do that. So it's a good idea, a good concept.
Yeah,
So yeah, a lot of that I'd say is just hating on like Pokemon fans or Nintendo fans side. But it was like three big controversies at the same time. That's like the most base level one. The second one, it was been very confusing, and you see a lot of people talk about it online, mainly with like Twitch people and like them getting a lot of hate and for playing the game, and it's because there's been rumors that this game uses some sort of AI uh, generation tools for some of their work. And I don't the like I bought the game, I played it for 2 hours, and then I went online, and then I started seeing all this other stuff. Basically, the CEO he loves AI generation,
hmm,
GPT, AI art, AI everything, stuff like that. He loves it. He thinks it's really cool. And a lot of people are like, well, if he loves it, that means he's going to use it for his game. And then it was like, oh well, how did they come up with the ideas for these pals? Are they AI generated? And maybe they are, maybe they not. But the whole point is that day one, the people came out, oh, they're using AI art, and then day two was like, okay, well, actually, there's no proof of that, and people are just like putting out stuff that we don't have any proof of. And so now at this point, there is no proof, or there's no like, there's only speculation that we know that
Mm-hmm.
the CEO likes AI, but we don't know what work went into the game. So I'd say at least, I think the AI art and generation is going to be shake up the game industry probably for the worst in the sense where people gonna lose jobs, and games are still gonna get more expensive. But there's no proof that this game has done that, and there are a lot of games that are interested, like Ubisoft said they're interested, Square Enix is interested. So it's not Palworld so far, but maybe in a couple of days we hear some stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, yeah, that
Um,
one is controversial, but I say like jumping the gun on it was kind of like
not cool.
not the move. And people are now like still, if Deontay went on Twitch right now, he's streaming it. You might get some people like, "Why you supporting this game? Blah blah blah. You're a bad person." It's like that. Y'all overdoing it for this.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's
The
overboard.
the yeah, the one thing that I will say is kind of suspect, and they could probably get in trouble for, is from that people are really investigating the game, and they're looking at the pals and the designs of them,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some evidence that some of them might have actually gone to a Pokemon game, downloaded the characters, put them in a 3D program, and traced over them. Uh, and if that's the case, then that's kind of like actually stealing. I don't
Oh,
know if there's been a legal case yet of like anybody getting in trouble for it yet, but that is like, actually tracing somebody's work, and not specifically work. It's like in order to get the models, you have to rip them from a game, meaning you got to use the third party software, and like with third party software to steal stuff so you can use it in another commercial project. That stuff is kind of complicated, but there is like precedent of like people getting sued for like certain stuff like that. Like you can get sued for making like a not an emulator, but you can get sued for emulators that take code from the system to use in your emulator. Like that puts you into uh
yeah.
like territory where you're liable. So it's nothing that actually has come to that yet, but if Nintendo or somebody wants to come at Palworld for something, that might be the reason.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I would think so too. I mean, that's a pretty valid point. I know that they said they did a lot of stuff behind making sure that this was all legal and that they had no concerns over it, but they also could be lying. So,
Mhm.
there is always that thing, but I think nobody would actually care if this game didn't have success. I don't think anybody would actually
Oh yeah.
blink an eye. This is
So
this is if it was like a 10/10 level success, nobody would care. But because it's up and that, it's one of the highest, concurrent players on Steam and it's making a lot of money, everybody's going to come out the woodworks with, the couch lawyers and all that stuff. And I know copyright infringement better than you. Okay, well, prove it. So that's the only thing I care about. Is when they prove it, fine. But right now, I'm not going to sit here and speculate on a game that just came out. Right now, I just think that enjoying their success is great, and they should be proud of what they was able to accomplish with so little. I hear a lot about the development team being small. I hear a lot about that and stuff like that. So I guess I'm here more so on that side. Controversy is pretty tough to ignore, so I really would want to see more proof behind what they're actually saying, and then we can condemn them properly. But right now,
yeah,
they are
more
fine.
proof, evidence,
Yeah,
and not
they're
just
fine. Palworld is a
speculation.
success. We want to keep it on a high note. They doing the right thing. At
What do
least
y'all
not
actually
doing
think
the
about?
right thing, but they're doing their thing at this point. They're actually winning. So it's what
Yeah,
it is.
it's
What
a
it is.
success story, and on its own, I think they put in some good work. But what do y'all think of the game? with what y'all played?
I think that I could think I could put some time into it, but honestly, um, I feel like I will wait for the real final version to come out. I don't need to play this game right now. Um, and that's how I feel about it, but that's because I don't have a lot of time on my hands and um it didn't grab me as much as it could have in the very beginning. I think I like it a lot. I like the enjoy the the whole Pokemon catch 'em, but that's just me and my inner child wanting to playing Pokemon really. And then after that, it's really back to me and management, getting new tools, getting that stuff. And if I'm not literally like building houses like I can do in Legoland, like Lego Fortnite, like I would gravitate more towards that simply because I can be more creative in it. This is really about objective. They probably have a lot of things that are secrets that I would like to get uncover, and that whole friend aspect is really nice too. But it's okay. It's not a skip for me per se, but it's a wait to get till it get better for me. I don't really need to play it today. That's what I think that's what I will say. So I don't need to play it right now. So, but at the same time, I didn't have to play Diablo 4 right now. So it's not like it's just Palworlds and that. It's more so
Mhm.
a lot of games are not need to be played for me right now, and this is one of those two. So what you think, Jalen?
Uh, well, as I said, uh, over and over, I mean, if it allowed me to play the game with y'all, I mean, I'll play it. Um, I'm not like the big. I'm not like the hugest fan. I mean, I've seen a little bit of controversy and all that type of stuff. When I was playing on the Xbox for a little bit, I'm just like, all right. I mean, this game is kind of scratchy. It's a little. I ain't gonna say it's an eyesore, but I'm like, I don't really need to like play this game. But Josh was saying it's free on Game Pass. Um, I mean, I ain't got a good reason not to play it. Granted my like gaming history and stuff like that. I ain't really been playing much, and I ain't been doing a whole lot. So I mean, I'd be inclined to give it a try and stuff like that. It's not something where it's just like, man, this game catching my attention. Like I'm really trying to play it. If we trying to talk about games catching attention, we talk about Final Fantasy 7. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it ain't
That
that. I mean, it's
rebarb, yeah, that's for sure, for sure.
yeah. So I mean, again, it ain't something that's just like really catching my attention and stuff like that. I mean, I'm willing to explore the idea, and I mean, to be honest with you, with all the controversy and stuff like that, I'll be honest, it making me want to play it just a little bit more to try to understand what people are talking about. Um,
Mm.
but I mean, I think one of the glaring issues, granted, this coming from somebody who played 30 minutes in his mug, you feel me? So I asked Deontay for the code last night. I'm like, hey man, what's the code? I'm trying to get in my world. You know what I'm saying? It's that. Now I'm trying to be blast catch up in there. You feel me? Go get me a Kaduma ring and all them. And the thing was, I'm over here playing and stuff like that. I'm like, all right. I mean, it's a little okay. Man, I'm gonna kick me out the game, and I'm like, man, I can't get back in here. So basically,
Uh,
what I'm getting at is all the server stuff. It sounds like your dude is dedicated to like one like server, or you can't just take your progress in other places. And I can't just constantly play with Josh and Deontay unless Josh and Deontay is on the game. Um, it just seemed like a little bit of a hindrance and a little bit of a hassle because it'd be cool if I'm in the game doing what I do. And
yeah, and
then y'all say, let's hop on. I'm like, all right, what's up? Like I'm on now. Like I got a snap back on. I got my little sheet thing involved in. So you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't all those things that occurred and we can kind of see each other's progress versus like, oh yeah, you in here again? But like, yeah, I was waiting on you so I could move further with my life. Like you but all right, let's move further together. Like it's that part of it seems like a little bit of a hindrance. So I have reservation in that regard. But I mean, I don't doubt the game potential and all that type of stuff too, man. I mean, I just don't feel like I'm like have a strong gravitational pull because of that hindrance right there. That was a little bit of a turn off, especially when they kicked me from the server when I was trying to build my little power ball and stuff like that. I'm finna catch them all at this point, but nah. So, but yeah,
yeah. Yes, like I said, I think I think it's one of those things where we gotta wait and see what they fix. And honestly, if the Steam version is the better version and I can create, dedicated servers and like the mod systems become better and all that stuff and the community can push it to the next level, that's fine. But I also want to see what the company can do. And you got a lot of money now, at least a decent amount. They can actually go out and like put some more effort into their game because it's a success. I want to see what that looks like in a year from now, a year and a half from now. Like that is my stance on it. It's always going to be engaging, but it's going to be an engaging to an extent of Pokemon right now for me. I can play it when I want to play it, but right now it's not like it's I got to have it. And I think, like I said, I think a lot of this success is tied to the people that was truly, hammering for a Pokemon like game that took it to the next level, that actually provided some additional fun and gameplay and some experiences. I understand the diehards and I understand people that are in fan of Pokemon that may have fell off of it. So I feel like this crowd is really taking a hold to this game and really running with it. And I think that's why they have a lot of success because there's plenty of games that do these exact same things, but they are not getting the same level of success. So there has to be something else there. And I think that's attachment to the experience that we had as kids, as Pokemon lovers. So, you don't gotta think the same, but I'm just saying that's what I think. And, I think that's why we're seeing so much success come from this, out of nowhere, because I think a lot of people are like, hey, this is actually kind of dope. And then they started to catch fire because of the meme, as you stated. Um, and then it kind of took off from there. I really think that that's why their peak is today and not before, because it's literally just a lot of people just jumping on, seeing so much stuff online. Come on, okay, Pokemon with guns. Okay, let me top on. And they probably not even play it because I looked at the thing. 76% of people caught their first Pokemon. Like we still got 25% out there that didn't even catch a Pokemon yet. So that's telling to me at least that there is some people out there that are just looking to see what the experience looks like before they start. And that's themes. So, you know, it's those types of things. So,
Yeah,
I
that
hope
being
them.
said, the Pokemon mechanics are actually pretty light, and you're gonna spend a lot of the time like just building and like doing Fortnite stuff. Um,
Yeah,
and I mean they do got like other ideas that they've taken from other like genres and stuff like that, like the guns.
yeah, for
But
sure.
at the end of the day, most people want to see what it's like and see what a Pokemon game would be like if they weren't restricted to
Yeah,
Pokemon.
they weren't restricted to that IP,
Yeah,
and like that's it.
and at the end of the day, Pokemon might still be the best uh, animal catching slash battling game, but
I
a lot of
want some
people
new
remember
flavor.
that. Yeah,
That's it. That's all it is too. I want some new flavor. Um, and that provides enough for people. So, like I said, I appreciate what they did. I appreciate that they are trying something new. I definitely want to see what it looks like to play that game at level 25, level 40. Um, but it's just find that time to etch it out. It really would help if we had like a dedicated location to be able to go back to. That would really help me kind of like play it now. But right now, if I feel like I'm all my stuff gonna be scattered and all my saves and all my time wasted, I don't do that. I don't do time wasted no more. So no, it's not happening. So that's just not gonna happen for me. But I do see the concept. I do like the groundwork, and I do enjoy the gameplay. So those are all you really need. And if you want to give that time, you can for sure. Any last thoughts before we move on from Palworld? Anything from you guys?
um, the I was just gonna say the not the reason I played the game, but just like the stuff that you see online about this game, like not even memes, but just like it's so funny how they took that idea of Pokemon and like have made it into like making them work. Like you want to build your house and the sheep will come help you. They'll build the house, but the sheep get hungry or lazy. You got to feed them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't want to feed them, you can just hit them and then get back to work.
I did not know
Or
that. Oh,
like
wow.
like I saw like it's a Meowth clone. It's a cat. It's a pink cat. I saw somebody. The cat didn't want to work anymore, so he picked it up, threw it into the fireplace. It caught on fire. It was burning. It ran around in circles. Then when the fire went away, it went back to work.
Dog.
And like look at any video, you'll see assembly lines and sweatshops for these pals, and like that aspect of it is just so funny to me. That
Yeah.
I mean, when you really think about Pokemon, it is it's still cruel because you're making them fight, or like this Pokemon was trying to escape from you and you captured it into a ball, and now it's like stuck with you. And like so, Pokemon is like a weird concept
Mm.
on its own, but to actually see them take it serious is just so funny. So that's all.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I agree. This is the adult Pokemon.
Yeah, they be Pokemon has some things to it, like even on Black and White and stuff like that. Like they be like these Pokemon want to be free, and y'all trying to force them to do y'all battling, and they be like, no,
Yeah.
we're friends, and you know what I'm saying, all that type of stuff. But I mean, Pokemon, when you think about it, like in an adult aspect, it is a little like, all right. I mean, obviously in the shows, they be like they keep getting out of their ball, they don't respect the trainer, all that type of stuff. But you know, it still be a little, it be some
Like
things to think about.
Charizard tried
That's
to
all.
kill Ash like plenty times.
Yeah, and it be some Pokemon got some things
Or
to
like
show people.
in Gen 1, what Lieutenant Surge, like he was a soldier in the Pokemon War. Like how
Yeah,
come we don't see that?
they
Yeah.
did say it was, man, wasn't
Okay.
Uh,
Well,
adult Pokemon.
adult Pokemon for sure. It's tackling all the tough topics for sure. uh, but moving on, let's get to the Xbox Developer Direct, um, where they had showed off 4 games, well 5 technically, if you want to count Visions of Mana, but we had uh Indiana Jones, we had Avowed, we have Aura, History Untold, and we also had Hellblade 2. So there were few revelations that came out of there. Overall, quick, fast, and dirty. If y'all have a score, shoot it out now. I gave it a B plus. Um, any scores on the Developer
Mm,
Direct?
mm. I would have to go with like a C.
Okay.
Wasn't bad, but I don't think everything there was the best version of the marketing that they could have done. But I think overall it was okay. Yeah.
Jalen, did you watch it?
it? Nah, I ain't get around to it.
Okay, so no, I figured you did. So I was like, he ain't watched that. I know he did. That is an Xbox thing. Nah, I ain't watching that.
Remember, I ain't never won Xbox in the first place.
But, okay, so I gave it a B plus. And I explain my reason as we go through the games. But was there any I guess what was I mean, I guess we all know I guess what the highlights are, but let's just go from game to game and what they kind of showed. So they first showed off was Avowed, and my thoughts were simply that the lighting system changed. Whatever they did to the lighting system, I think they probably started adding in the Unreal Engine 5 stuff, like the global illumination and actual shadow mapping and like really actually showing off that stuff, because the game looked different to me. It didn't look the same as if it's first showing. And maybe I'm just tripping, but the animations look better, especially the wand, and the combat looked a lot better. And that was the 2 big selling points for me. Okay, I said the world looks a lot better, it looks a little bit more detailed, and then the lighting is a lot better. And then animations, of course, that first person, man, I'm so tired of playing first person games, but first person field of view, um and that whole detail of the world is what really helped me kind of say, okay, this is a good showing of this game. And they talked about it a lot more. They talked about the world. They talked about the characters. They talked about they talked about a lot of stuff. They talked about the characters, or at least not the characters, but the worlds and the places and locations you'll be able to go. Um, and then they also talked about the combat and how the type of enemies you'll be fighting. So um, I gave their showing a A. I mean, because I gave it an A simply because that's the best that you're gonna probably get from Avowed, even though if you not like it, but they at least went over the core things that you would want to be interested in learning about the game, dialogue options, things like that. So I felt like that was an A presentation simply because of those categories being shown off properly. Um, Avowed in itself, gameplay wise, I don't, I it moved the needle to me to try it, but again, it's another one of those games that I'm probably not going to ever finish, unless there is something really compelling about the story that makes me want to continue to go. But it's really tough for those types of games to keep me intrigued, and I'm a tough sell on those sometimes, especially when it comes to things that I'm literally trying and not actually looking forward to. Nothing established behind it, but those are tough sales. So it moved the needle, but it didn't do much else. What were your thoughts on Avowed, Josh?
Um, I I actually say that I was disappointed in what I saw from Avowed,
Mm,
because from the jump, I think Avowed was a good idea. I was looking forward to it, and the first trailer, even though people were dogging it, I didn't think it looked that bad. I think this trailer, the game so far looks better,
mm-hmm.
but it's the actual presentation of what they showed off that was not very um interesting. And I think
Okay.
that's the problem, because this game, it's not Skyrim, but it's very Skyrim like. You got first person combat, you got magic and stuff like that. And they talked a bit about like the mechanics, and the mechanics sound interesting, but they don't look interesting to show. Like you have like your character can switch, quick switch his build. You can have an axe on one build
Yep.
and heavy armor, and then you press a button and switch to like a rogue. And like, oh, that's cool. Like mechanically, you're gonna be incentivized to like have different builds and switch between them on the fly, and like that's cool. But with it being first person game and the animations being not that great, like it doesn't really show well. And like nobody talks about the combat in Skyrim because I guess it's pretty basic and it doesn't look good. So the combat in this is gonna be more fun, but it's still not gonna look good. So it's kind of a hard um, sell for
Any
me in that presentation. Uh,
any
uh,
thoughts on
uh,
what the presentation could have changed to make you feel better about it, or not really? You just kind of knew that that wasn't it.
uh, yeah. So for moving on from the combat, I think the conversation and like quest stuff that they showed was not very good. Um,
Okay.
so in the presentation they showed like it's some like lizard people who attacked a camp, and you like go there and investigate. You fight some of them, and then you like interrogate one of them. And like I think the that quest is too basic to be interesting, because like, oh, they're like, oh, after you beat them you can investigate who, or like why they did it. And sometimes they'll lie to you, and then they show the dialogue tree. It's like, oh, who are you? And like, uh you know uh you can leave, or I'm gonna kill you. And like those are your options. Like this is a pretty basic quest, and there's nothing interesting that you're showing on the screen. And I think that you have to show more interesting quests. For example, on the flip side of that, when they show the Outer Worlds a couple years ago, I think they had a really good presentation where they were showing how funny and quirky the characters are. And like you do
Hmm.
a quest, and like how you can betray people and stuff like that. Like that was just a good example of a interesting quest that they had to show. But for this one, they just showed like a pretty basic level 5 quest that had nothing interesting going on. So
Yeah.
I think those have made me feel pretty light on it. That being said, I'm still interested in Avowed, and I liked Skyrim, and I think I this has the potential to uh, be more fun to me because it's smaller and more focused. But I just didn't see that in this presentation.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I hated the dialogue. When I graded it an A, I gave it because of what they shown and the
It,
beats they hit,
mhm,
but not necessarily the content of the beats. It was more
yeah,
so making sure we hit that because I'm going to talk about the next one pretty harshly. Um, but yeah, so it was that versus anything else. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Truly, I do, because I think when I was listening to them talk, I was like, this is going to be boring. This cadence is terrible. But I was judging the actor in anyway, and shouldn't be doing that. I was trying to listen to the dialogue, and I just felt like it was not engaging.
mhm,
So there was plenty of things that I did not like about the content of the thing, but I was more so looking at the structure of what they're supposed to show in a developer direct, what they're supposed to big up, and if they feel like that was the big up, fine. But obviously,
yeah.
to
I think
me, it
it,
wasn't.
like I said, actually hearing about the mechanics made it
Yeah,
interesting, but like I don't think that presentation is gonna. I mean, I don't. The audience is it's not gonna work for everybody. Like it's not a trailer that I can show
yeah,
Jalen and he gonna want to play this game. Like heck, you know.
yeah.
So yeah.
Now they did release another additional bank breakdown, like more information
Mhm.
on it. I haven't watched that yet. But that may have some additional details or something that might interest you. So you might want to check that out, or I don't know, I'm gonna check it out later. But if that's something you guys have not watched and y'all just watched the developer direct, make sure you guys check that out too, in case you want to learn more about Avowed. But let's move on to the next game, and the next game was Hellblade 2. I'm pretty sure it was Hellblade 2. Hellblade 2, by far the worst showing of the show, simply because they did not show much. And I think it's difficult for them to do so because the game is short. And the writing's on the wall for me right now. I'm calling it. I feel like the game's going to be bad. I think it's not going to be a great game. I think it's going to be an okay game. Actually, I
Uh-huh.
don't think it's going to be bad. I think it's going to just be another game. And I think it's going to be like, and I think Digital Foundry made a great comparison. I think they said it's like it'll be the Order 1886 for Xbox, which is fine, but it's not what I thought it was going to be. So I'm disappointed not only in their beats, because I still learned nothing. I didn't learn much about the game as I watched that, and I watched the same walking sequences, the same stuff going on in her head, and I get what they're trying to do. But at this point, I know the game hasn't evolved into anything other than another psychological, um, another episode. I suppose that's it. That's all I can think of. It's not really something I feel like I'm going to gravitate to. I'm not going to play it again. Obviously, these are one and done experiences, and there's nothing else additional to um, really experience. In my opinion, I think this was a lot of time wasted for Ninja Theory because I don't think I'm gonna like the combat that much. I don't think I'm gonna like I might like the storyline, but honestly, there is so much not being shown. It tells me this game is short and has little to show. So that's my opinion. It might not be true, but from what I've seen over the last 2-3 years since we've been seeing this game, I don't know much about it. There's not much to talk about, and I've been seeing the same walking and getting out of cave and slashing somebody once and cutting to something else. I'm not really. Ninja Theory was always good to me because of their gameplay, and now I'm getting more of their cinematics, and I don't think they're cinematically up to snuff for me to care. So maybe they've changed over the years, but I was there for the gameplay. And I don't think I'm gonna get much of an evolution there. But let me stop. Josh, what do you think?
Yeah. I This is the game I'm actually the complete opposite of you because I think this was the not that the trailer that they showed was a whole lot of new stuff, like you said. Like they're pretty consistent with what they're showing. But what I learned from the developer direct is that the game is, I guess, like what they actually want it to be. And basically, they
Yeah.
said this game is the same size and about the same size and length as the first game. And that was so surprising because, like, all the speculation over like 5 years, like, what is the game going to be? How long is it going to be? What they going to change? Is it going to be like,
Hmm.
God of War and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
no, it's not God of War. It's what we made before, but better. And I think that on its own is a great sell to me because that gives me at least confidence to know that the stuff that I liked about the first game, I'm gonna get that again, and the stuff I didn't like, maybe it's improved at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first game, the combat was basic. You're not there for the combat. The combat is not gonna keep you engaged for 6 hours. What you're gonna be engaged for 6 hours is literally the main character's acting and the story.
Hmm.
And I think the first game, like cinematically, with like how they did the character cutscenes, like the
Hmm.
the close ups of the character and the acting, and like how the story and all the other characters came together. I thought it was really good, and I personally, I never liked Ninja Theory's gameplay in their games because it was always like a not as good Devil May Cry or knockoff Devil May Cry. And when they made Devil May Cry, it was kind of like not as good as 3 or 4. So not that it was bad, but it was not as good as the other one. So
Yeah.
them
I
actually
I
moving
can
away
get
from
I
the
can give you
combat to
that.
do something
Yes, it
different,
wasn't as good as the other ones. You're right.
yeah, them moving away to do something different and them discovering, oh, we actually are good at this. Because I mean, this came out before God of War, and like the cinematics and the acting and cutscenes were kind of like some of the best like
Hmm.
acting of the individual character that I've seen. I think God of War has like surpassed it now, but now we're getting back to this, and maybe they can push it again. So with two, I'm excited for the to see the story. It's
Hmm.
just like it is walking, and it's not like I don't know, it's an adventure, but yeah, it's her story. So I guess I want to see her story. Like if it was a movie, she's an interesting character, so I want to see her story. They talked a bit about the sound and how they improved it, where it
Yeah.
was only
3D
the
audio.
voices in her head in the first game, but now they're doing 3D audio for every sound in the game. And I
Hmm.
think if it was super immersive the first time and it was only the voices that were 3D, and now you're going to do everything, the wind, the footsteps, the fire, all that is going to be super immersive. Um, Graphically it looks amazing. Like I mean, obviously it's super dark, but so far it looks really good. And
Hmm.
they actually have other characters in the game. Like in the
Yep.
first game there were no other characters. They were bosses or enemies, but like you might see like a cinematic where somebody's like talking, but there are no other characters in the game. But like in this one there are other characters, and so I'm interested to see how she actually interacts with other people, because the whole point was like the first game she's alone and like she's going through this struggle and like losing her mind.
Yep.
And now we have other people, so how is she gonna actually be able to interact with these other people? So I thought it was interesting. They haven't showed a lot, and yeah, like you said, that's because the game is 6 hours. They don't want to show anything else because that's kind of like the whole point.
Yeah.
It's 6 hours. It's $50. It's on Game Pass and digital only, just like the first game. So uh, I feel I have less worries about like the game. I think if the combat is a little bit better, the puzzles are a little bit better, and the story is great, I think it's a win for me.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends on the story. If the story is not good, then yeah, the game is trash. But they
I
know what
think
to
that
do.
is the selling point is the story. So, um, I just hope it's good. I didn't play Hellblade and come out thinking the story was great. I thought the experience was interesting. And I have never given Ninja Theory stories a second thought. So I really hope the material plus the actor plus what this is truly supposed to shape up to elevates it to an experience that is the quality and level of a Order 1886. I still like the story and the combat of Order 1886,
Hmm.
but I feel like I'm
Yeah,
going
and I
to
think they could.
probably just like the story than anything,
Hmm.
and I feel like they could do better. So that's all.
Yeah, and who's to say the story might be bad? I can see a lot of ways like they can actually mess it up. But I think that they stumbled on something that they were passionate about, and it
And
seems like
found
they're passionate
success
about it.
in, yeah.
So yeah.
So here's hoping for sure. Uh, and what's your grade for that section?
Um, I'd say a B. I think the game I'm excited for, but yeah, the presentation not actually showing. They could have gone like just show a full fight, like a full combat section, and then it
Yeah.
would have been an A. But yeah, so far B.
Okay. That'd be nice. I give him a C. Um, but moving on, let's go to Visions of Mana. Um, I really hope y'all got something to add here. Hopefully, Jalen,
Hmm.
because these are like Square Enix stuff. I don't know nothing about these games. Um, but these Mana games, I guess, are like the originators of the Final Fantasy stories. That's all I caught, and I was like, oh, maybe they had know something about it. It looks cute. I mean, I like the pup. I like the puppy. That's about it. That's all I got. I'm gonna let y'all take it.
These games are complicated, and I would say it's a lot of like not necessarily just nostalgia, but there's also like a lot of these games because this is second Densetsu series, and there are a couple games like this is the third one that they're doing, kind of like a remake
Mhm.
of. Basically, the games came out in Japan. They're popular. They're RPGs, but they're not turn-based RPGs like Final Fantasy. They're more like action RPGs where you can move and fight in real time.
Mhm.
Uh, and people like them. But they never came. Not all of them ever came out in the U.S. And so the only way you can play it is on like emulators or like fan translations, or like maybe one of the games got a translation for the GBA or something like that. So they were super hard to find, and it was a lot of hype behind them. And so now we finally getting full 3D remakes. The last game that came out, I think it was Secrets of Mana. I think it's on Steam right now. It's on my wish list. I played a little bit of it. The gameplay of the remake is actually super 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 basic, like super basic, like Dynasty Warriors type combat. But
Mm.
people say the characters and the not the structure of the game is interesting because they give you like 9 characters and you pick 2 of them and you play them together, and like you have the primary story and then secondary story, and then you beat it in like 10 hours, and then you pick 2 more characters and play through their story, and depending on who is you pick your first character, that changes like the whole plot because of these 2 characters. Depending on who's the primary one, the story changes. So it's an interesting idea from a mechanic standpoint for that game. And so this here is I don't know if it's a direct sequel, but it's a sequel in that same style. Um, Trailer wise, it looked okay. Personally, I don't know anything about Visions of Mana, like the old version, so I don't have any nostalgia for it. I just hope that the gameplay is actually better. Because the reason
Mhm.
I haven't bought the other one is because I played the demo. It seemed okay. Like literally, if I have nothing else to play, I'll play it. But it's if you can improve on the core gameplay loop that I'm doing minute to minute, then I'll give it a try because the concept seems interesting, but the gameplay is not there. So hopefully this second one is better. But
Mm. Okay. Um,
Yeah,
I don't.
I ain't
I
never
don't.
looked into them games. I mean,
Never.
I
Nothing.
seen them and
Okay.
stuff like that. I remember a couple releases and stuff. I think it was like one in 2018. I was literally sitting in my internship looking at this. I'm like, man,
yeah,
what are these Mana
that's
games?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one.
like
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I was just like, I looked at him like, man, that say Square Enix. Let me look into it. You know what I'm saying? Go look into that mug. I'm like 5 minutes in, I was just like, yeah, man, this ain't it, bro. Like, and then Square Enix, they gonna tax for it anyway. They gonna be like, I mean, we need like the 50 bar from you. I don't know how much they cost, but
Yeah.
um, I
Yeah, it
just
was
like it
full
was
price.
kind of one of them time periods. What you said? What my bad?
Oh yeah, it was full price.
Yeah, I just like I feel like it was one of them time periods where like Square Enix was coming out with like certain games and stuff. Like I don't want to say indie games, but they might be like a remake of a game or like a revamped version. So like they had like I Am Setsuna, they had like it was something
Mm-hmm.
called like something Sphere. Like I just feel like they was coming out with a lot of them type of games, and it's probably not like anything. No, I'm probably a little bit more keen on it. Like I just didn't feel like those games. I'm gonna get a full fleshed out game that's actually worth the price that I'm gonna pay for it. So
Yeah.
likewise,
Yeah, they were
Trials of
smaller budget.
Mana, or yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they were a budget. Like you just like, all right, I kind of don't need to pay $40 or $50 for this game and stuff like that. So um never looked into them games. I wouldn't be surprised, like Josh said, if they, I actually believe everything you're saying about the game being it never had no localization. They bring it here, they revamp it, all that type of stuff, and then they charge you full price for it when it's like the mechanics and everything, the structure of the game is pretty much the same. They just kind of updated the graphics, maybe. So,
Yeah. They get away with that stuff all the time. So all I do is,
pretty
hide and
much.
buy, keep it pushing. Um, I don't. I could try one at some point, maybe trials, but at this point, as like I don't really need to. So, I
Well,
like the
yeah,
Tale series more.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think the Tales series, because the Tales series was always like the meme of like the the Naruto of the RPG genre, where the combat is super basic, but they keep coming out with it and keep buying it. But I think
Mm,
their combat has gotten better and their gameplay loop has gotten better in the Tales games. But a lot of games like this just can't even deliver on like the basic level of the Tales games. So if you don't like the
gotcha.
combat and Visions of Mana, I don't think a lot of people will be. I mean, not to say y'all specifically, but like the combat might not be able to pull you through like the Trials game could.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to Aura History Untold. It is a real-time strategy game, and it looks like it's very impressive from a lot of like technological standpoints. Like a lot of stuff happening at the same time, synchronous turns, and all that good jazz. Like you being able to like craft and all that. I tried to get the concept of real time strategies, and I think this one is the first time I've actually understood what you do in a real time strategy. And that's simply because of developer direct. So I gave that a B. Because I don't care for the game at all, but at least I was able to understand what they were trying to convey. And I think those types of games, they might be tough to sell, but they kind of treated it and respected it, and it made me respect what they were trying to show, and they cared about the game a lot, and they have a lot of years in real time strategy games, so it seemed like they was very impressed with their game, and I was impressed what they were showing, even though I don't know nothing about it. I feel like these new achievements they were making felt like they were useful and beneficial to the genre. So that's it. I'll give it to y'all, and then we can move on.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this because I don't like RTS games. The only ones I've actually played are the Halo Wars games, and those are fun for like a like basic like easy mode type thing. But I would never play that type of game like for real or do like multiplayer. And so Civilization and Ara, they're super a lot more complicated and complex and not for me. Um, I would say I would give this one a C because I think Ara is like an old IP, but
Hmm.
they're putting like a lot of money and work behind it. I don't know how popular it is compared to Civilization, but at least what they showed didn't look bad. It's just it's not for me.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the last one, final, but definitely not the worst show. definitely one of probably the better ones. Indiana Jones got revealed from Machine Games. Um, and I didn't know it was executive produced by Todd Howard, so I had to see him again. But overall, I mean, I don't got no problem with Todd. It's a first person, and that's a differentiator. If I said that word right, differentiator.
Yeah.
So it is something that really makes it stand out from Uncharted and Tomb Raider immediately. They are good at first person stuff. So I feel comfortable with them taking the helm of this and like running with it. So I mean that's pretty much all I have. I think the ID tech, not all I have on what I'm saying, but like for the starting of it, I just feel like I'm comfortable with it being first person simply because it's Machine Games. They're using ID tech software. And from what they showed, at least, um, I feel like there is a lot more to be said about that viewing angle than I would like to let on. Sometimes I don't like that angle simply because I don't enjoy being so close to the camera. I like to see like stand back like in Avatar, Pandora, that game. I kind of would prefer a third person view, but at the same time these are more singular focus areas and it's probably not going to be large expansive open world things. It's going to be like a one lane type with maybe some different type of avenues to get around stuff. I appreciate that first person perspective more simply when it's going through that because it brings me into the world a little bit better. But if it was something like an open world concept, maybe like a Tomb Raider or something like that, I would probably want to have that third person view. But they do give it to you when you're doing puzzles and cutscenes. So it's like a best of both worlds, honestly. I think they had to do something different. And I know Josh, we were talking about it last time. You were kind of in that boat of, hey, this might be a little too samey. So it could still be definitely samey, but at least this is something that differentiates it from the rest on the market. So I gave this A as well. And we can talk about the remaining stuff, but Josh, your initial thoughts and your grade.
I don't know if Jalen want to go because I'm gonna be a hater.
Jalen, did you watch did you see anything about the Indiana Jones game?
Nah.
So, I mean,
okay. I think the first person change is a good one. That's what they've done before. So no reason to like try to switch to 3D for the first time and it not be good. And you get away from the Uncharted comparisons of being like the Uncharted clone. So I think that's good. That addresses one of my complaints I had last podcast. What I would say is I didn't like the trailer of the game because it's a lot of reasons, and I'll be completely honest. It's probably just like me being a hater for a lot of reasons. So the first person.
Wait, what? Wait, you ain't gonna check because I'm about to know. You just gonna still hate? Go ahead.
I mean, yeah, it's so I'll start with like the most hater aspect of it. I'm tired of Troy Baker being every white man in every video game ever. So I don't like Troy Baker. I think he's a really good actor, but he is literally every white man in every video game, in every game. And hearing his voice, I cannot not hear his voice. And so watching the trailer was like, okay, you're supposed to sell me on the character, but now you got the actor that I'm not sold on, so I'm never going to connect to the character. So
gotcha.
That's my issue with Troy Baker, and that's completely hating because he's a talented actor and he's in every game because he's talented. But for example, Cyberpunk, I didn't know either of those actors. I think the girl and the guy are both really good, and they sold me on their character because I was not attached to them, and they're not a famous name. And so I think, there's a lot to be said. Somebody who's completely overplayed and finding somebody else who else is talented. So that's just Troy Baker. The first person perspective is smart. Uh, uh, I don't know how I feel about the combat.
Hmm.
Because I don't like first person games in which they make you like grapple and grab people. I think it's always super janky and you're just waiting for the animation to finish. Like I don't, and you use the whip in this game. Like if you look at the gameplay in the trailer, like he's throwing the whip, he's grabbing people's feet, or you throw the whip and you pull them close and punch them in the face, and
Hmm.
it looks like kind of janky to me.
Mm.
And it might not actually feel janky, but like the actual animation where it's like if I'm fighting one on one, sure. But I'm pretty sure there's gonna be like 5 or 6 enemies in a room, and I don't want to be locked in this animation, like trying to throw my whip at this guy, and he is
Yeah.
pulling him close to. So I don't know how I feel about that aspect of the combat. The guns are probably fine, but another hater thing, I don't like World War I or World War II guns in games.
So you don't like
Like
the
I
time
don't.
period.
No, the time period is fine, but when it comes to like using those old guns, like watch the trailer. Like the shooting animation in that pistol is super slow, and that's not exciting to me. I mean it's not even slow. Like it's not. Oh, I'm compared to Call of Duty, so it's not fun.
Yeah.
Like watch, he switched to the gun. It take like 2 seconds for him to pull it out and aim, and it's like a whole bunch of recoil, and it's like okay, that might be awkward. That being said,
Okay.
Machine Games they've done first person shooters before. I'm pretty sure they know how to make first person shooting fun. But I'll say the combat and the character have not sold me. That being said, the game looked okay. I think the first person perspective will help for the traps. Like they show, like he stuck his arm in a trap, and a spider climbed out, and so like that might help it feel a little more immersive or whatever. Overall, though, I for me it was a C.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so that tells the perspective of what they have, and like I always appreciate Xbox because they have something for everybody and everybody don't got like everything. And that's cool because honestly, if this was a PlayStation Direct, I think we would all feel the same way. Where it would still fall in that same category of these things are for me, these things are not for me. And unfortunately, the things that they try to have them be what you want them to, what they want you to be is kind of they feel samey. So I'm fine with mixed reactions because I would appreciate that more than everybody loving something across the board or everybody hating something across the board. In my opinion, um, this Indiana Jones game is something that will give me a fun time, and I'm expecting them to be able to handle animations properly. I'm expecting them to be able to handle gun animations properly because they did that in Wolfenstein. Their blur effects, everything. I have never played Wolfenstein and felt like, oh, these animations suck. So I trust Machine Guns. I understand that this is a totally different Machine Games. I understand it's a totally different game, but uh and there's concepts to it where you're pulling in the Dishonored staff. I'm like, Arcane could have probably made this game if they're talking about going different pathways. Indiana Jones not wanting to always use his weapons and trying to outsmart the person. So there's like things that they want you to be able to solve puzzles. They want you to be able to outsmart the guards and not actually you can avoid combat. So there's a lot of stuff happening here that makes me feel like this is not just a um copy and paste. I want to just make an Uncharted clone, which with the original IP. So I'm happy for that, and I'm happy that they were able to nail the performance. Obviously, I'm not super um I'm not like a Indiana Jones fan. So when I was looking at it, I felt like the performances from the bad guy were as impressive. I thought the performance from Harrison Ford was impressive. I thought the quirky girl that's going to be with you is impressive. I felt like their characters were believable as I watched it, and the
Harrison Ford not in the
story
game.
and the say that again.
Harrison Ford not in the game.
That's his likeness, right?
It's like It's Troy Baker's face, but they like touched him up to look more like Harrison Ford.
I thought you said I thought they had Harrison Ford's likeness.
They might, but that is Troy Baker's face, but they probably put some changes to make him look more like Harrison Ford.
So is it Harrison Ford or is it Troy Baker? Because are you saying that they just Troy Baker on Indiana Jones, or is it Harrison Ford's likeness? Because it can't be one. It can't be both. So what is
It
it?
can be both because it's using face capture, so they put the cameras on Troy Baker's face and they scan his face, and then after they do that, they change some stuff. We're gonna take Troy Baker's nose off and put Harrison Ford's nose on. So it's Troy Baker's face, but they might be using some of his likeness to touch it up.
That makes no. Never mind. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That works.
What are you talking about? That's how
does that make sense to you, Josh? You just said they take somebody's face, use a motion capture, and then they change it to make it look like somebody else. But you're saying it's the same guy. How does that make sense?
Because, Deontay, when you're making the art, they scan it and becomes a 2D texture. It's a 2D
I understand
image,
what you're saying. You're saying that this person is.
What are you talking about?
You're saying this person is the. You gonna let me talk? Are you gonna let me talk, man? You said this person sat with the motion capture, and then they took that face and started adding stuff to make it look like something else. But you want me to say it's both at the same time. Okay, that makes sense.
No, Deontay, I don't want you to say that. What I was trying to correct you on is that Harrison Ford is not acting in this game. Harrison Ford is not acting, and his voice is not in the game. So I was confused why you said Harrison Ford's performance was pretty good. No, you didn't say likeness. You said Harrison Ford's performance was good.
Oh, sorry. I
said Harrison Ford is not in this game. And if it's his likeness, he's not doing anything in this game.
You're right. Okay.
So what I said is Troy Baker's face. And what I want you to understand from a 3D art perspective that I learned and studied in college, that you literally take someone's face and you scan it. And is that not his face? So like if I scan Deontay's face right now, I got Deontay's face on my computer. And I add LeBron James' nose to his face, and I use that for my promotion. Is Deontay gonna be upset because I changed the nose? It's not Deontay, right? But no, you're gonna feel some type of way because I still scanned your face. So that is your face, and I've added to it. So there is a conversation to be had that yes, this is Troy Baker, and they've changed it, and they put some other elements to make him look like another actor. It's makeup, it's prosthetics. The same thing when you hire an actor and I'm gonna play Michael Jackson in a movie, and they're gonna add some stuff to my face. They're gonna add a fake nose. They're gonna add makeup and stuff like that. And is that actor under the makeup not still the actor, or is that Michael Jackson? Like, no, it's an actor playing Michael Jackson. So this is Troy Baker playing Harrison Ford.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I liked it, the performance between the actors. I thought they looked it really good. I thought the motion capture looked it really nice, and outside of that, I think the world they built, the actual, the scenery, what they were showing, like some of the puzzles. They didn't show off any they didn't show any overcomplicated things, but it looked like they're going to have some nice puzzles in there. They also talked about side puzzles and things that you can see or do from the outside of the main puzzle. So those things are going to be pretty cool to look at or to explore. So I feel like they're going to have a lot of elements of the two games I like, Uncharted and Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider has a lot more real puzzles to me, and then Uncharted had a lot more story beats. I think they're going to try to combine the two, and that first person perspective will help sell it a little bit more. So I'm excited about it, but I am, I'm still like, yeah, it's another, I guess, one of those adventure type games. So I'm just hoping that their spin on it actually works, and they're able to. I'm hoping that they're able to compete with something that's going to be coming out around the same time, whatever that is. I think that is going to be their big fall game because they didn't even put a date on it. It just said 2024. So I don't know if they're trying to slide it in somewhere else, but I think it's going to be one of those late games. I don't know about the other two. I think Hellblade is for sure May. I think it was May 21st. I think. I don't know if it was 24th or 21st. And then it was Ara History Untold was in the fall 2024, and then also they showed and then also Avowed fall 2024. So if I was a betting man, I mean the fall is basically what is that? September, October. No, that's like why can't I think of it now? It's the dates before October. It's August. It's August, October. What is the freaking
August, September,
July?
October.
July, August, September. Because October, November, December is the fourth quarter.
Q4.
So the third quarter, I think fall is that's fall, right? Or no?
Q3.
Q3 is
like
is
Q3
fall.
is fall/summer. But you got July, August, September. So fall is September, summer is July, August.
Yeah. So little bit in that November time frame, would you think, in Indiana Jones or no?
Q4.
Yeah. So Q4. Do you think that would be like the time frame for this or no? Because they put
Maybe.
two fall games from ours and History Untold and Avowed. I mean, I wouldn't think they would. I think those games will probably come around that August, September time, and then I think they'll lead the layway. I think that October, November time frame is going to be stuck with Indiana.
You forgot the delays that's probably gonna happen.
I mean, it could be some delays, but I don't know. I think they're trying to, at least with this developer direct, they're trying to put games out that's going to come out this year, and that's another thing I like about the developer direct, at least, is that they're going to actually have games come out. Yeah, they're actually talking about games that's supposed to be coming out soon. So, I mean, we'll see. I think if I was a betting man, I'd say November. But anything else to add about that Xbox Direct before we move on?
Nope. Hopefully they all come out. Don't get delayed, like Jalen said. But
I think Hellblade is definitely gonna come out at the right time. I mean, they already said the date.
yeah, they said May something.
May 21st. Okay. Well, let's go to our next topic. Let me timestamp that real quick. Dang, we talked about that for too long. All right, let's speed run. Last of Us Remastered. It came out and people were a little bit upset because it basically looks like The Last of Us 2 Part 2. Last of Us Part 2 Remastered looks just like Last of Us Part 2 on PS5. And not that much changed. And they added some modes, but not much changed. They push out the log effect, so but it's $10. At least upgrade $10, but it's $50 if you ain't had it yet. Which I mean, it's cheaper now. It's $10. I ain't caping for them. I think it's trash. But what's y'all thoughts on $10 upgrade for not so different graphics and a new horde mode. Which was the
Now, let me ask y'all this. Hold on, my bad. What do y'all think the people was expecting to occur that justified this purchase? That's what I need to know that first. Like, I just want to know y'all quick stance.
I think people are delusional. But I don't think people are upset. I don't think the people that actually bought this are upset. I think people are just, they don't like that they keep releasing this game. They don't like Last of Us Part 2, of course. But
I'm in that Legion. I'm in that Legion right here. That's what I'm
you're
going
in the Legion of Doom. You're in that Legion.
Bro, I'm like, bro. But no, you can go ahead and ask your question. I just had to get it because I'm looking like that shouldn't have been justified anyway. But all right, I ain't gonna say it's not justified, but you gotta take with a grain of salt.
It's the actual, like, I guess, what do y'all think about them? I don't know. I don't think they did necessarily anything wrong. It's not like they deceived anybody. Everybody thought it looked the same, even with the screenshots. So if you buy it and you still come out like, I feel gypped, like, well, we all knew it looked the same. What are your thoughts? I mean, what y'all think about this? What y'all think about Last of Us Part 2?
Same thing I said X amount of episodes ago, man. And then X amount of episodes before that, and before that one too, when we talk about Last of Us. They trying to get their media out. They trying to sell and stuff like that. More power to them. It's their IP and stuff like that, right? But, you just don't need to, I don't know. They just keep re-releasing stuff and re-release, and it just need a little bit of a break. But
with like the Last of Us 1 remaster was like not worth it because they were charging like full price for it. But they were justifying it by saying we changed like the code and how the game works, and we got accessibility options that you could never do before. So now we put a lot of work into it, and so that was a justification. Their justification for it. I wasn't really sold on it, but at least they can like say they did a lot of work for it. Whereas like this, it was definitely not necessarily because the game was a PS4 game and they already have like an upgrade system that you just ported over to PS5 without having to do anything but up the resolution and stuff. We don't need you to redo the textures. We don't need you to do any of that because the game already looked good. It was like one of the last PS5
exactly.
PS4
it was like it was last PS4 game when the PS5 was basically out, so it was like it was in that little in between realm. So it's like,
yeah.
Let me ask this.
So,
my bad. I feel like I cut y'all. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say they charge less money for it now, but this doesn't seem like you need to charge any money for it. But yeah, go ahead.
So when that game came out on the PS4, I remember back then the PS5 had an update for like backwards compatibility, all that type of stuff. Did that game actually run better and look better on the PS5, even though it was a PS4 game?
Right?
Yeah, it didn't run better. It had like it stayed steady to its like performance mode at 60 FPS, but I think but then it got a proper update before. Like it literally got an update already on the PS5. That's where it started unlocking performance and the performance more being at 60, and then they had like the quality mode at 60 as well as like a balance mode. I think that's what they added, if I'm not mistaken. I might be remembering that wrong, but they definitely updated the game to run better on the PS5 outside of yeah.
I mean, as long as if they did that, because I would assume at that point in time, since it's been like one of the last PS4 games, it probably signed the PS4 is going to blow up or something like that when you was playing it. So if it run better on the PS5, I could definitely see that being the case. But to re-release it, you know what I'm saying, a dedicated PS5 version, you know what I'm saying, you can't put in a PS4. I mean, that's probably all they did. Ain't make that much of a difference.
Yeah. So I think the real outcry and the outrage is that it looks the same. I mean, I guess they thought it was gonna look like some leaps and bounds better, like from Last of Us Remastered or from the PS3 to the PS4 or something. Like there's nothing that they can truly do. And I said that. I said there's nothing that they can truly do to make this game better on this console. Like nothing. Like the game was already top tier graphically. It already ran really well. There was nothing that they could truly do to make the game better. They already did that for the other game. So there's nothing here that I found value in. That's why it was a mute point when it came out. And I guess people really thought and deceived themselves into believing that they were truly going to be doing something different. I don't know, but it could be just the people online that just hates them releasing this game, because I think the people that actually bought it for the $10, I don't think they complaining. I think they enjoyed their mode and they're happy.
Yeah, it could have still been a free upgrade because the God of War DLC came out and they added like new content for free, and it's like, I understand developers do work, and it wasn't just like a click the button and it's PS5. They probably had to do a little bit extra, but it's still like, what is this $10 for? Is it for the higher quality textures, or is it for this horde mode that is, it could be fun, but it's an afterthought. So
Yeah.
when you have another PlayStation studio doing equal amount of work because they're doing new cutscenes and bosses and stuff like that, for free, it makes you question why are you charging this?
Yeah. No, for sure. And that's where they did and a lot of people are drawing comparisons to God of War Valhalla new DLC coming out, and no, they gave that away for free, and that probably added more to the game than anything that this could ever came close to. So people were drawing comparisons to that, and I'm like, well, they gave y'all something for free. Chill out. I'm not trying. Like I said, I'm not trying to cape for these people, because I know that there is a such thing as a free upgrade, and I think Microsoft does it the best, where they do it with I think the best version I've seen it done was Gears 5, where they really revamped the game for free. I haven't seen that, nothing like that extensive yet since, but I mean, there's no more mid-generation type situation no more. It's all current gen. So I don't know. I mean, they could value their players more and put that out there, or they could just try to cop a little extra money right now. That's all I can take from it. I mean, I understand people being upset, but y'all have to understand what Sony needs and what they do. They make single player very expensive games, and I don't want that to go away, so I ain't tripping on them trying to cash cow on some of the people that want to buy that game over and over again. So it is what it is. When 3 come out, I might play it. So I need them to get there, though. So they need to do this. Go ahead. I ain't buying it. So I think that is the key. Understanding the audience, understanding the market, and understanding where your pockets are and where you want your money to be. Do you want that to be with them, or you want to be with yourself? Do you really need to spend $10 to upgrade your Last of Us Part 2 edition that's not going to play much differently? Probably not. But if you want to, you can. And I think that's the best I can see from this scenario, is that they have the option, upgrade path. But outside of that, man, everything else about this is screams cash grab. So we thought that when it first was announced. I think that now.
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all give me y'all funds, so me and mainly Deontay can enjoy them single player games.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to our next topic. And this is kind of interesting too, because it's right on this, and then we're gonna probably have to end it here because we're running out of time, unfortunately. Charging more for games and what that truly means. The people are talking about wanting to charge $100 for games. And I think it was a few articles running around here about that, and testing out charging that amount of money and thinking that it was going to be a safe bet. Trust me, I think the sentiment around the world right now is that everybody has enough of a backlog, enough games that they have already purchased, that they don't really need to buy anything else right now. Like there's so many games, good games that have come out over the last 2 years that really we don't need to buy new games as they come out. There is a need for the person that is interested and hyped for that game, but upgrading games from $70 to $100 is going to it's going to thin out your player base, the ability to get more people in actually on the bandwagon, and it is empowering Game Pass to become the defining thing. I really don't want that. I really don't want Game Pass to become the big, the big player on the market. I really don't want it to be where you have to have a subscription service to be able to be creative. I want people to be able to be creative, make good games. But I find that this $100 game tax or whatever is only hitting the AAA market. I don't think it'll ever touch the indies or the small developers. I think they have a better understanding. I think I'm getting better, fun, and more engaging gameplay from the indie developers now than I am from AAA gameplay makers. So I said a lot, but the key thing here is $100 games versus our backlog. Is there a justification for them to charge more for games? And Josh, I'm assuming because you make games. What's your thought on that?
I mean, it's a lot of conversation about the prices, but the thing is, the game industry is in a bad spot as far as like budgets go. In order to make a game like God of War and other stuff, you have to spend a lot of money, and because of many different factors, the economy, inflation, all that type of stuff, the prices just keep going up every year. So if you want Last of Us 3 and Last of Us 4 and Ghost of Tsushima 2 and 3, the cost of those games are going to keep going up. And companies are not going to be able to keep up because the money from the consumer, like consumers are spending a lot of money, but just like Spider-Man 2 just showed, like these companies are barely breaking even, and you got like a $500 million budget, and that can't keep happening. And you can't keep expecting 4 $500 million games to come out each year like Sony was doing at some point. And so they're gonna have to raise the price in some way, because they've been trying to get a lot of money from microtransactions, and that is a good way to do it. But just raising the base level price of these expensive games is just gonna make them reach their bottom line a lot easier or a lot sooner. But I think it's a lot of speculation that the consumer is not going to be able to support that. And so what can happen is they raise the price and people just accept it, and they just buy the games because the quality is just so amazing. But this year and last year is showing that that's not going to work, because companies are having to scale back. They have to cut budgets. Like Riot just fired 11% of their staff yesterday, and League of Legends is one of the biggest franchises in the world, and they got Arcane, and they're really successful, but they got to cut 11% because last year they also had their biggest budget that they ever had, and they just couldn't reach the growth that they wanted. So now they got to scale back. So I think we're gonna see a whole lot of companies trying to scale back, and they're gonna raise the price to help compensate. We have less employees, we're raising the price, and this is gonna help us reach the budget that we need each year to make these games. I don't know if it's sustainable. There's a lot of people saying that it's not. A lot of industry people saying that we might still get quality games like Last of Us, but they're going to be a lot more rare, a lot more spread out. Yeah.
What do you think about the Game Pass formula and that providing the backbone for companies to create value from a smaller budget?
It's definitely looking like Game Pass and the subscription model is gonna make games like what's that Prince of Persia game that just came out? Like that came out and it's
Lost Crown.
Yeah, Lost Crown. It's showing the mid-tier games, not the full AAA $70, $100 games, but the mid-tier games around 50, 60. They're for a long time they didn't exist. Like the PS4 generation, we didn't really have like uh I mean, there were some digital games. There are a lot of digital games that came out for a lot cheaper, like $25. But now it's making a space between 25, 30, and your top AAA. So now we can have $50 games and stuff. So the Game Pass is going to be beneficial for those mid-sized developers who can't afford to do the Last of Us budget. But you know, there's a lot of negatives that come with that because now we're going to expect things to be subscription based, and for some developers that might hurt them than help them. But so far, it's seeming like a good alternative to the $500 million budget.
Yeah, I was thinking of it from that standpoint of, how everyone has a subscription now. They can provide more creativity and hits, and then provide them more money out back end when they kind of next iteration or next success story. And I think it's going to impact, the the length of the video games, the type of video games we receive, and it may impact the creativity behind them. I want it to impact it in the right way. So I'm looking at Hellblade and Avowed and all those games. I'm looking at them from, okay, these are games that probably will still have come out before Xbox acquired them. Maybe they provided a better budget for these games to kind of create on a better scale and look better because of the Game Pass subscription service. I'm just hoping that it's for the good and not for the bad. I don't want Avowed to have been a AAA game that got knocked down to medium tier because they felt as if the budget didn't align with what they wanted to make, and they had to drop that service, and because it's coming straight on that service, they didn't want to put the money in to make it better than what it was. I don't want to see the flip side of that. So I'm concerned from that standpoint. But at the same time, I'm open to elevating some of these cheaper games to be made to a higher level simply because of the reach. So there's some pros and cons as you kind of stated. What's your thoughts, Jalen, before we get up out of here?
So before I go into my thoughts, I want to ask y'all, how many $70 games have y'all bought? Take a poll.
I have not bought a $70 game. I've bought a lot of games cheaper. But I bought one. Actually, the first game
did you
buy
Demon's Souls?
No, remember I got that game.
I'll be keeping track of you, man. I'll be chill out.
No. I did buy Demon's Souls, but I'm pretty sure that
You got it
game
for on sale, right?
I either got it on sale or I had like some way of getting it for the regular $59.99 price. I think it was like a $10 coupon or something like that. That if you buy it with a PS5 or something, you get like it cheaper. I remember buying my PS5 and not having that game. I don't know if I had it or didn't have it, but I'm pretty sure it had like some stupid coupon with Best Buy. Best Buy was always doing pre-order now and get $10 off. I remember that. Yeah.
Before they switched it from the 20%.
Got it when the game came out, or like the first month.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't spend $70, but I think like Best Buy, gave them that extra $10. So
correct.
Only got
correct.
$70.
I would always get it to where somebody else was fronting the extra payment. Yes.
Okay. So basically, you ain't paid $70. You ain't paid $70. $69.99
per se. I have bought new games, but I have never paid $70. Actually, no, that's a lie. I paid more for stupid Call of Duty. Yes, I did.
That one that y'all was trying to get me to get. Anyways,
you did get it. What you talking about? You got it cheaper.
Yeah. I think I paid like 55. I bought a CD here or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. So I
Yeah,
did buy Call of
I
Duty.
bought a new
Duty.
game though. I'll say that I bought a new game. I paid quote unquote 70. I bought a $70 game brand new. Did I take $70 on my wallet? No, but um I did when it first came out. What about you, Josh?
So games that were originally priced at $70, I've only gotten two since this generation started, which was Call of Duty and oh shit, I forgot the name.
What
The
about Armor Core?
sci-fi the sci-fi space game, Dead Space like game, Callisto Protocol.
Oh, Callisto Protocol.
And Call of Duty were the only games that were $70 MSRP. Like I paid less for Callisto Protocol, but the game was still priced at the full price. But no, Armor Core, Street Fighter, Resident Evil, pretty much every other game that I bought was not $70.
$70.
They were all $59.99.
That's why I switched to PC because I could always find them for like 45 ish. That's when I started switching to
Some
PC
games on
for my
PC have been like 59 on PC and 70 on console.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
yeah.
I guess just to answer your question real quick, I feel like, we getting older, it's less time, money starts to be a little bit more important and stuff like that. And paying $70 for a game, it's cool, but again, my same sentence still is like valid. Like, we've seen back in the PS4 all the glitchiness in the games and stuff like that, and I ain't got time for ships to be disappearing or stuff for game. You know what I'm saying, right? So I just feel like the quality of the games, theoretically, they're getting better, right? Because they're graphically improved, all that type of stuff. But like subjectively, I don't feel like the quality is necessarily getting better because some of the games lack stability sometimes. Sometimes they put out undone products and stuff, they want to update the game, all that type of stuff. So I only got one $70 game in this whole generation. That's because y'all was finna choke slam me if I ain't get the Call of Duty. So I feel like that one's finna come. What y'all think? Like,
man, what you talking about?
But no, I just don't. I can't see myself paying $7 for a game if they want to go up in the price and stuff like that. Again, y'all know where my value reside. If I'm saying, if it's like a multiplayer game, like something that's a little bit seamless, potentially and stuff like that. But like, especially for single player, one and done games, we had talked about the DLCs and stuff. They always want to have season passes. You're not getting a full game, quote unquote. It's just not justifiable, and going up on the price is not going to be justifiable. I think they just better off doing microtransactions, to be honest with you, because at this point in time, my PlayStation, I had PlayStation Plus in a while, and I game on the free games and stuff like that. So therefore, I got some flexibility on how I want to spend my money and stuff like that. And I indulge in a microtransaction every now and again. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta find it worthy and stuff like that. Not to be like, hey man, we pulled this away from you because we changed our mind and we want you to spend some cheese on it. How about that? You know what I'm saying? If there's something like that, and I can't do it. So, but yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, I think the backlog is an issue for them, for the gaming industry as a whole. I don't think there's many people that buy new games out there just off the strength anymore, and we're definitely not trusting of the ability to deliver a solid gaming experience first day. So there's so many things and problems with them charging more for games that are not complete and not, it's going to be harder and harder for them to break new IPs and things like that. So I just find it a slippery slope. The first upcharge was tough to swallow, and I haven't bought a game for that price since. And I used to buy $59.99 games pretty frequently, like maybe like 4 times a year, maybe like 5, probably more. But it just not for that. It's not been that case. We had one of the best gaming years last year, and like I avoided a lot. So, it is what it is. I think they have to understand where their market is, but I don't think they will. But we've been talking quite a bit, so we're gonna have to wrap it up. Anything else good for for the group. Anything y'all wanted to say before we get up out of here?
I'm gonna give a premature RIP to Suicide Squad, because they dropped their DLC roadmap for the first year, and nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
The DLC character is Joker. He looks a lot. It's not the Arkham Joker, because they call it an Elseworld, which is kind of like a alternate version of the Joker. I don't know if it's a different dimension or how they explain it. But he kind of looks like the what's his name, Jared Leto Joker from Suicide Squad, just like a little bit, change their own version. But he's thin, he's young. He's gonna be the DLC character, a part of the story, and might have his own little missions. And then they said they're gonna be other characters. I think 4 characters in the first year. So I'm surprised about that. I wasn't actually expecting more characters for that game. But it is just, I think the marketing is the issue. One of the many issues, but like I think the Joker coming back to the Arkham game should be a big deal, but it seems like it was super like under the radar, and the game comes out in a couple weeks, so it's not looking good in my opinion.
Nope. And I mean, yeah, I agree totally. But what can you do? That's like I really feel like that is like going to be one of the biggest disappointments in a very long time for me, because I really like Rocksteady, and I already see the writing on the walls. So, but all right, thank you guys for listening. If you got to this part, you're a real OG. I want to thank you. I appreciate you, and I do see you guys always tuning in and enjoying the content. So tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, and we will be back next week in full effect. But yeah, more topics, more things to talk about. We kind of unfortunately ran out of time this time, but we're gonna get to those things next week. Again, thank you guys for listening, and we will talk to y'all next time. Peace.